Great day, kings and queens. Yeah. Welcome to another conversation with Drew, where it's an honor to be able to share my gift with you guys. Truly a blessing to be able to share the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding that I've gained through my experiences and through studying. That's causing me to become the best version of myself. And through what I share with you guys, my prayer is that you become the best version of yourself. Today is a terrific Tuesday. And it's truly amazing as you see the sun already kissing me this morning, glistening, yeah. But I titled this one called The Weight. And the reason why I wanted to speak on the weight is because I believe it's very imperative that we understand, how important it is, while we're waiting for, our desires of our hearts. It's truly amazing, as you go through life and you begin to be prepared. Great morning, Queen. You understand how powerful it is, the waiting process is, from the beginning to the end, the waiting process I call the middle. And, it's such an incredible experience, when you're able to understand the value of the waiting process, the preparation. A lot of people don't want to go through this. Great morning, King. A lot of people don't want to go through this process, this middle part. But to me, it's the meatiest part. It's the juiciest part. You begin to find yourself. You begin to see the testing of your intestinal and mental fortitude. You begin to see the characteristics that you truly have and the ones that you are flawed in that area. And it's tremendously amazing, as I begin to see how important the weight is. There's two things that I realize that are very valuable in the middle process or in the waiting process, and that's patience and preparation. And I want to touch on both of these, today, to help somebody today and to truly help somebody, get to the place of clarity, in the midst of where they are right now. One thing that I realized in this waiting process as I've went through it on my own, was that, things that we are hoping for, or things that we have faith for, or things that we are desiring or we're wanting. The beauty of it is that if it's yours, it's yours. And I've developed this attitude over the last couple years, that really has helped me out tremendously, to recognize that what's mine is what's mine. And the reason why I say that is when we grew up, and we were kids, right? And, we will always have that attitude, and some of us have gone on and had kids now, that when we have something, we're like, mine. And if somebody else touch it, another kid touch it, we go and we snatch it back, even if we're not even playing with it, and we're saying that's mine, and that's the attitude that some of us have never let go, right? And but it's so beautiful because when you understand the magnitude of it is that what's yours is what's yours. Nobody can take what's yours. You know what I mean? We've been taught in this society that we're in constant competition. Instead, we should be in constant creation, meaning that we should be constantly evolving. We should be constantly growing and constantly changing. But the beauty of it is that truly it is yours, and nobody can take the position that you were created for. Nobody can take the blessings that's yours. Nobody can take the destination that's yours. Nobody can fulfill the purpose that's yours. But the beauty of it is that when you finally can truly conceptualize that and really understand the magnitude of, nobody can take what's yours. But in the middle of the process is called the wait. That waiting game, that waiting process that you're going through when it seems like, okay, I'm not where I used to be, but I'm not where I am. And that's the hardest part, right? Because there's a glimpse of hope, to say like, man, you're on your way. You're literally going in that direction, but you're not where you used to be, but you're not where you want to be. And so we are in that middle part called the wait. And it's so beautiful when you understand the value of your patience, right? So many people I've constantly heard all my life to be like, man, I don't have much patience. Our patience is not my strongest suit. Well, that's the problem, because in life you need patience, right? You used to be an adolescent. You used to be a teenager. You are no longer those things. So that is saying that there's a process that's taking place that's causing you to change, that's leading you into the direction you want to go into, kings and queens. But the powerful thing is this: when you understand the value of the wait wait is preparing you. The wait is the process that when you come up with an idea for a product, and before you put it through production, you see how beautiful that this thing can potentially be, and then you put it through production, and it does not come out like that. There are things that have to happen, experiments that have to take place. There are things that must go forth before the finished product. The beauty of it is that the finished product is guaranteed, right? So this is what's so amazing about your waiting process, or the middle where you are, right? Because some of us are waiting for our husbands or our wives. Some of us are waiting for, the weight loss process. Some of us are waiting for our financial situation to change. Some of us are waiting for that healing process from a broken heart. Some of us are waiting for that promotion. Some of us are waiting for our businesses to take off. Some of us are waiting for our books to finally take off, or our CDs, or whatever it is that we're going through. But the beauty of it is that what's yours is what's yours. That's amazing to know. That's amazing to understand that what's yours is what's yours. Nobody can take that. But the thing is that when you're in the waiting process, there are two things that you must exercise, and that's patience and that's preparation. Why patience, right? Because at the origin of everything successful in life is faith, right? I mean, at the origin of it, you'll always find faith. That is not a religious terminology. That's a universal terminology. There are many atheists out there that do not believe in God. They are exercising faith, right? So faith is a universal terminology, kings and queens. Understand that. So what I'm saying is that in the middle process, right? What you have to understand is that you have to have faith. But see, the beauty of it is, kings and queens, is that faith, right? Faith is belief. Belief in faith is, faith is believing in something that you cannot see and speaking it until it come into existence. And so when you understand the magnitude of that principle, right, you have to understand that you having something already is not faith. You not having something and believing in that thing is what faith is, right? And I remember in Mark 11:24, it was so beautiful, right? Because this principle was given. It said, whatever you ask for in prayer, believe that you shall receive these things and you shall have them, right? And that is the key. Whatever you're asking for in your mind, whatever you're believing in your life to come to pass, right? You must begin to believe that you have these things in order to receive them. This is the key right here, right? With the patience piece, right? The patience piece is so valuable because you have to have such an understanding of what's mine is mine that you literally can see the thing happening before you get it, right? So that's like if you're sick right now and you need to be healed and you're seeking healing, right? The thing is this. If you continue to say that this disease is mine, this illness is mine, this ailment is mine, and you continue to say, I am sick, if you continue to hold on to that, then you're going to keep producing. You're going to keep producing the same results over and over. This is the key, right? This is the kicker. If you're sick right now, I'm just giving you an example. I don't want nobody to be sick. I want everybody to be, healed and whole and so forth and so on. But if you're sick right now, this just came to me, right? The powerful thing in your ailment right now is that don't embrace that sickness. Don't acknowledge that sickness. What you want and what you desire is to be whole, right? What you are asking for or what you're believing for is to be healed, right? So the thing is this. You continue to operate in life like the sickness don't exist. You continue to operate in your mentality saying to yourself that you're well like the sickness don't exist. Why? Because as you believe, so shall it be unto you. Right? Or what you think about, you bring about. Or as a man think in his heart, so is he. So understanding that what's yours is yours, you begin to act as such. You begin to believe as such. You begin to speak as such. Why? Because we were created to speak things that be not as though they are. This is what I began to learn. This is what I begin to understand, right? That in the middle of where we are going, in that middle process, in that waiting game, what I understand is that I must focus on what I desire as opposed to focusing on what I don't desire or where I am. Because you are a creator. You were created by the Creator to be creative. So that's saying that you have to use your intelligence, use your mindset to see what you want. It says, whatsoever you ask for in prayer, believing these things. It said, you shall receive these things. Listen to what it's saying. What you ask for, right? You ask for it, right? That's the first thing. You ask for it, you put it out into the atmosphere, you put it out into the universe. These are principles that you can find in personal development. These are principles that you can find in the basic instructions before leaving earth, right? Whatever you ask for, believe that you shall have these things and you shall receive them. Belief is this, right? Let me give you an example of what belief is not. I want to lose weight. I want to get in shape. But then I go home every single day, sit on the couch, crack open the brew, get me a big old bucket of KFC chicken, and watch TV every day. That's unbelief. Let me say that again. Unbelief or lack of faith is, I want to get in shape, but I go home, get me a 6-pack of brews, get me a big old bucket of chicken, and I sit in front of the TV on the couch. That is unbelief, right? This is belief. Belief is, I want to get in shape. I have a desire to be in shape. I have a desire to reach optimal level in my health. So what I'm going to do with the knowledge that I have or the lack thereof, I'm going to go get me a gym membership, and I'm going to go to the gym knowing absolutely nothing. That is faith. And the reason why you have to understand this, kings and queens, I'm telling you, man, it's so beautiful, right? Because you were created to win. You were created from the eminence of winning. You were created from the eminence of greatness, of success. So therefore, when you understand how great that is, you understand that everything that you are desiring that's going to cause you to win and become the best version of you, you were created from that. But the beauty of it is that you have to understand that in this middle process, right? In the middle process, you have to exercise patience. It's not a thing of, oh, well, I never had patience. And listen, everybody has patience. That's a bold-faced lie. You came from patience itself. The cup of patience you came from. So you have patience. You may have not cultivated it, but you have patience, right? So I'm saying that the reason why you have to have patience, because I was speaking to my cousin James one day and he dropped some jewels on me. He hit me with something so powerful, this incredible law about patience. He said, Drew, check this out. He said, celebrate when you're going through certain things in life, right? He said, because the testing of your faith, you hear what I'm saying? What is faith? Faith is believing in something that you cannot see and speaking it until it comes into existence. Where you find faith? Faith is at the origin of everything successful in the earth. He said, man, he said, when the testing of your faith is going on, he said, allow patience to have its perfect work. Why? He said that so that in the end results where we're going in life, he said, you're perfected and completed, lacking nothing. This is how beautiful life is, right? Life understands that you need patience. Life understands that you need faith, right? So life will put you through certain experiences so that your faith and your patience can be cultivated. This is the problem. When we are in this middle part, when we are in the waiting game, most people crumble. Most people leave the waiting game. Most people fail the waiting game. And so when you see, as I was driving this morning, a woman, an alcoholic, had her 40 in her arm early at 7 o'clock this morning, hair everywhere, staggering like she's still drunk from last night. What the creator of the universe was showing me is that she failed in the waiting game. She lost faith in the waiting game. She did not pass the test of the waiting game. And so many of us are going through the waiting game and we give up. because we don't exercise the second part, which is preparation. I remember reading this story in 2 Kings that was so powerful. It was these men, who was about to go to war, and they were traveling a long way, and they had their horses and, their camels and their men and so forth and so on, but it was a lack of water, right? And so they became extremely thirsty. It was so powerful because the men were led to go to this prophet, and the prophet began to tell them, like, listen, man, we know that it's a drought. We know that there's been no rain that came to the earth, but this is your part that you have to do, right? I'm telling you, it was so incredible. He told them, he said, go and dig ditches, right? Go and dig ditches. Even though there's no sign of rain, even though there's a drought, go and dig ditches. So what it was saying was, go and prepare. Why? Because without the preparation, the blessing has nothing to fall into, right? It has no place to land. There's no landing ground. So as your plane of blessings is coming, if there's no landing ground, it has nowhere to land at, right? And we know that it always has to be a landing ground, or eventually the blessings will run out of gas and it'll crash and burn. So this is what was so incredible when he said, go and dig your ditches, meaning go and prepare, go and make some holes so that when it does rain, when the rain falls down, when the very thing that you need comes into existence, it has somewhere that can catch it, right? And so they had to go and dig something, not knowing if this was true, not knowing if this would work, but they went and they did it. That's called faith by works. He said, show me your faith without works. I'll show you my faith by works. This is what you have to understand, kings and queens. That if you're waiting for your spouse, your husband, or your wife, prepare yourself as a king and a queen. So listen, if you're going out on the weekends, turning up, you're going to have some sips, you're rolling up your joints and getting some blows on. You understand me? If you're going out to a place for I would say for distraught singles, you understand me? Because the club, the bar, is not a place you want to find your king and your queen. So if you're going to places, you understand me, of distraught singles, of broken singles that's trying to drown out their problems and their issues instead of cultivating and working on them, then you are not preparing kings and queens for your spouse, right? Yeah, some blows. Yeah, you understand me? You have to understand this, that you are not preparing, right? You attract what you are. So when you are working on yourself every day, kings and queens, to become a better version of yourself, you will naturally attract what it is that you're seeking and what you're searching for. My Uncle Paul said it best. He said that I may apprehend that which is apprehending me. Or in other words, he said that I may seek that which is seeking me. You understand what I'm saying? Because in the middle of the process, in the middle of the waiting game, you have to understand that it takes patience. Why? Because at the origin of everything successful in life is faith. And so you need patience in order to exercise that, and you need to prepare. This is what was so dope about the B movement, right? This is what was so powerful. I love to see the process. I'm just one of those guys that want to go through the process, right? And the B movement was absolutely nothing but an idea. This came from a man, a king, who was homeless, who hit a process or a waiting game period. You understand me? He was in the middle. He wasn't the athlete, or he wasn't the NFL player that he desired to be. You know what I mean? And he wasn't in a place of success that he desired to be. So he found himself in the waiting game, in the middle process, right? And that middle process landed him in his car eating out of trash cans. This is what's so powerful about the waiting game. But in the waiting game, in that place of patience, kings and queens, right? This was what was so powerful. He began to seek something that he never had a real relationship with. This man, listen, this is what's so powerful. I remember having a conversation with King K Camp, right? And this is what he said to God. This is what he said to God. He told somebody that if God wants him, he know where he can find him. Listen, I will never say anything like that. You hear me? I will never say anything like that. But this king was that serious. He said, if God wants me, he know where to find me. So here it is. This man is in a car eating out of trash cans. You understand me? Going and asking people who's about to throw food out at night, can they give that food to him? Homeless, nowhere to sleep, nowhere to lay his head. And he began to seek something higher than himself. And the Creator began to show him that everybody was a natural being. Everybody was a human being with a unique gift. So when you see the B-E, you see the human being that everybody is, and the dot is your unique gift. That came in the waiting process. Now we've been in Haiti. We've been viewed by 20 million people by a simple picture. We've been on Snoop's website. We've been on Taraji P. Henson's website. You know, we've been all over the country. You know, our apparel is exploding. Just came out of a fashion show, so forth and so on. And we started with 98 cents in the account. That all came from the waiting process. The waiting process. This is why it's so important to understand how valuable it is of where you are. But see, the preparation took place of when he took the idea and put it out into the world with 98 cents in the account. 98 cents. We're launching Be the Brand, Be the Movement. We're launching it with 98 cents in the account. That was the preparation part. That was the preparation part. Because he took what he had, which was an idea, and 98 cents in the account, and he gave it to the world. Now look what we're doing. We're getting contracts to go into schools and teach your kids. We're getting contracts to go into schools and teach your kids how to become the greatest version of themselves, how to just be you. With 98 cents in an idea as he was eating out of trash cans. The middle part, the preparation phase. This how important it is to understand that the process that you are in right now is perfect. It's perfect. This is what's so crazy about. Let me give you this example, right? I was thinking about this as I was, coming to this location to talk to you kings and queens today, right? This is what's so powerful, right? It's just like when you get married, right? People literally plan for a year and a half, sometimes 2 years, right? I'm talking about you come up with all the attendees that's going to be on a bride and the groom side. You come up with the colors. You come up with the ambiance, the whole decoration. You come up with the music. You come up with who's going to sing. This process takes forever. People go get a wedding planner, right? And this may take a year. This may take 2 years, right? This is what's so beautiful about understanding the waiting game and the middle process that you're going through, right? Because all you see is the end result. But in the middle part, you're like, man, it's been a year. Man, we're $20,000, $30,000 in the game. Wow. But then on the day of the wedding, after everything has been laid out, everything has been beautiful, that whole that 1 to 2 year process only lasts 30 minutes. 30 minutes. Think of how many people were stressed out, losing their mind, running around like a chicken with their head cut off for 2 years for something that lasts 30 minutes. 30 minutes. But you get a lifetime out of that. You get something so beautiful out of that that's priceless. So understand why you are in the waiting process, that it's necessary for you to have patience. It's necessary for you to prepare. What is it, kings and queens, that you are currently looking for in life right now? Is it health? Well, let me tell you about my health story. I was 300 pounds. You know what I mean? I had been obese for 25 years. At the age of 13 years old, I wanted to take my own life because I was tired of being teased. I was tired of having low self-esteem, low confidence. At the age of 13 years old, I was sitting there thinking, how could I kill Drew Clayborn? If I cut my wrist, it'd be too bloody. Mama walk in there, she'd have a fit. That'll crush her heart. Well, man, what if I can find a rope and tie it around my neck and hang myself? Nah, Drew, you're too fat, it'll break. This is what I was thinking about at the age of 13 years old. And so I go through life, right? With this depression, you know what I mean? With this low self-esteem, with this low confidence for another 12 years. And then finally something clicked. Like, man, I just want the lifestyle of health and wellness. I just want to be able to say that I'm healthy for the first time of my life. So I just started with some push-ups and some sit-ups around the crib. I was getting that money, as I call it, right? You know what I mean? I couldn't do too much in the beginning, but the fact that I was preparing was my portion, right? I was doing some push-ups, some sit-ups around the crib. I was getting a little bit of money, breaking a little bit of sweat, right? And then comes in with my mom with this pass for the YMCA because she had got a part-time job at the YMCA, right? This is what you have to understand about the waiting game, about the middle part, right? Speed up a year and a half later, I'm fit. Speed up 2 years later, I become a personal trainer. Speed up 2.5 years later, I win my first natural all bodybuilding show and become a professional. Speed up another year later, I do my pro debut and I win that. Now look at what happened in the middle part, in the waiting game. If I would have lost hope, if I would have lost faith, I wouldn't have became a professional bodybuilder. I wouldn't have became a personal trainer where I found out my calling was to help the mind and the spirit of man. So I began to study and find out that I had the gift to influence when I spoke. I wouldn't be right here in front of you kings and queens today if I did not endure the waiting game. The waiting game. Look how beautiful it was. Look at what it created, kings and queens, for me to have gone on and did the things that I've accomplished. Now, see, I didn't know personal training was in my future. I did not know professional bodybuilding was in my future. I didn't know all of this handsomeness was in my future. Yeah, you wasn't ready for that one. I did not know that. But the beautiful thing is, neither do you. But the amazing thing is that the waiting game that you are in right now is preparing you for something far greater than you can imagine, something far greater than you can ever fathom. But the beauty of it is that it's preparing you. It's preparing you. That's the importance of preparation, because it's preparing you. You're that valuable. What you have in you is that valuable. What you have in you is that great that God will put you in the waiting game and cultivate you and prepare you. But the thing is this. Your end is finished. It's complete. We're talking about the Alpha and the Omega, right? The beginning and the end. We're talking about you being completely finished, but you're just living out the life, right? We're talking about the one who says that I am God, there's no one like me. I am God, there's no one beside me. Why? Because all these other gods can't do this. They cannot set your end before your beginning, meaning that they cannot finish the forest and then put it in the seed. See, there's no one in the universe that can do that, but he did it for you. For you. Because he knew that what he put you in the earth for, in the fullness of time, at this ordained time right now, that the generation now and the generation to come would need your gifts, would need your purpose. So he allowed you to go through the waiting process so that he can perfect you, that he can prepare you, so that you can become the best version of you. That's it. You're that beautiful. You're that precious. Why? Because if that wasn't the case, you'd be dead. You wouldn't be here. You wouldn't be on this message right now getting these good jewels. You understand me? So understand that it's your responsibility now to see where I am. Okay, where am I right now? Okay, I desire this. I'm not quite there. This is where I want to be at. Okay, so what can I do right now in this preparatory stage? What can I do to get to that end? Okay, well, read some literature on it. Drew Clayborn, that's giving you this information right now, did not have this information 5 years ago. I talked this good game, but I didn't have the information to back up the good game, right? So now that I have the information, I had to understand that in order to get here today, kings and queens, I had to prepare. I had to prepare with information because there were certain things that I did not know in my waiting game. I've been waiting for the last 5 years. I've been preparing for the last 5 years. But the thing is that what's mine is mine. So if I have to prepare another 5 years, I'm going to do it. Why? Because in that 10th year, the explosion is going to be so great that the world will know who Drew Clayborn is. The world will know who Be The Brand is. The world will know who Kenny Brown is. The world will know who Keith Camp is. The world will know who Monica Sanders is. The world will know who Nikita Mudrow is. The world will know who Liz Bostrom is. The world will know who you are if you just prepare right. If you just prepare, kings and queens. And the waiting game is the best part because you are being perfected. It's beautiful to know that a father will not throw you out there to the wolves unprepared. That he'll love you enough to say that I'm going to make you the coldest. So when you get out there in the midst of them wolves, you're going to make some furs. You understand me? You're not going to become the target. You're going to target them and make some furs. You understand me? You are not going to be eaten up and swallowed, but you're going to do the shedding and the splitting and the preparing, and you're going to make some furs. You understand me? You are that great. I promise you, I would not be on here if you wasn't. I'm not going to waste my time with a whole bunch of peasants. I'm going to pour into kings and queens because I'm a king myself who understand the value of the waiting game, the waiting process. If you desire right now, queen, for a husband, a king, right? Well, go out and get some literature on preparing to be a queen. Go out and read some stories of some amazing queens who are out here living the life that you desire as a queen. Go out here and begin to prepare by reading their information and putting it into practice. Why? Because you attract what you are. If you are a peasant, if you are a bopper, if you are a side chick, if you are a booty call, then you won't get your king. But if you are a queen, if you are a virtuous woman, if you are a wonderful wife, if you are an amazing woman, you will get that. But if you're not that right now, it's not saying that you can't get there, it's just saying that you need to prepare. If nobody ever showed you that, there's books that'll teach you that. If no one has ever showed you that, there are mentors that'll guide you through that. I promise you, queens, it's out there, it's waiting for you, it's desiring you, but it said that what you're seeking is seeking you. It's seeking you, but you're not seeking it yet. If you're desiring to be a CEO, go out there and study information, books, materials that will cause you. This is all the part of the preparation game. You are digging your ditches. You are literally preparing. You are literally doing the faith by works. It's literally that simple. It's literally, man, when I say it's that simple, it's that simple. Period. Listen, I always said the word king, but I did not know and understand the value of what I was saying. So what I had to do, because it was so embedded in my heart, it was so engraved and interwoven into my soul, that I began to read information that talked about kings. I began to search messages that talked about kings. And now to this day, nobody will ever be able to convince me to the day I die that I'm not a king. Period. Understand your value, kings and queens. Understand the preparation stage. Understand where you are right now in the waiting game. You are being prepared to be the best product on the market. There's nobody like Martella McWilson out there right now. Nobody. Nobody. But we need what you have. Understand while you're waiting that you're being cultivated to become the greatest version of yourself, but the responsibility is yours to do the cultivating. The responsibility is yours to do the due diligence, to do the studying. The responsibility is yours, but in the end, you will be the greatest version of you that we've ever seen. Thank you guys for tuning in. This is a terrific Tuesday. I bless you guys, but remember, it's not a look, it's a lifestyle, because we do this every day, not to impress people, but to leave an impression on the earth. The only way that you will leave an impression is by becoming the greatest version of you. And in the middle of the waiting game, you will prepare, you will have patience, and you will be your best. I love you guys. We are opening up for donations. If you want to donate to this movement and what we're doing, as you can see, it's official like a referee with one of them, because I come to you every single day with something new, with something juicy, with something powerful. But we want to get off of Facebook Live eventually, and we want to take this to another level. So if you want to donate, go to Andrew D. Clayborn, CLAYBORN @gmail.com. Hit me up in my inbox, and I'll give you further instructions, or DM me as I put this on IG. I love you, kings and queens, man. I thank you for your support. Y'all have an amazing day, because you are amazing individuals. Peace.